Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac. Oh, we already lost this. No, I'm not going back. That's using resin. To win like that is using resin. You know what we're doing now? Random. I like when you start and you got a little, you know, you never know who you're going to be at the start. You get that little serotonin rush from the loot box opening. We're going to open as Kane. NYDQ. I prefer Shake Shack myself. And then Abba, Mamma Mia, here we go again, is Judas. Yo, is this what it's like to not play Eden? Sure, we get the risk that, you know, we're going to be the Lost or something, but we also end up with 8.71 damage on the first room with a 10 rate of fire and an adequate amount of speed. How does that happen? Hey, cool it. Well, it happens because we have 1 HP. I have heard your cries loud and clear. Sometimes too much randomness is unzany. I agree. So ironically, you know, Eden being a built-in random, nah, we're not about that lifestyle. You want to go random, which is less random than Eden. Did they make it so you can random Eden at this point? I think they have. I think the only reason they made it so you couldn't random Eden is because it would create problems if you had, like, you know, no Eden tokens. Even though that problem is literally like, you know, without putting on my DAE hat, it's like a single line of code. If you don't have Eden tokens, then roll this many. If you do have Eden tokens, roll this many plus 1. Okay. But maybe it's more nuanced than that, you know? All of my exercises have not been done in a production environment. Maybe it's more of a we didn't want to instead of we couldn't. Either way, it doesn't really matter. I hope we can random Eden. Just because that's randomness squared. For now, I'm very happy to be Judas, and I'm not so happy, to be honest with you, to have Isaac's Heart. I think I'll probably abstain from that. I will absolutely get Diplopia, which is just insanely great. We get a free PhD. Then we'll take the other pill, which is Telepills. I think we'll just roll with Power Pill instead. But that was like an outrageously great start. Anything? No. Alright. Well, except for the fact that they wanted to try to, you know, leave us stranded and broken and bloodied in the street with Isaac's Heart. This is really, really good. If I could just figure out where am I going? Yeah, for some reason, I had been under the impression that was a dead end. That's okay. It's easy to forget, you know, that 100 triple digit and a little bit streak. Was that an Eden streak? Heck no. What's that streak's favorite genre of music? Electronic. Heck no. That doesn't really make any sense, but either way. That was a random streak. With the occasional lost run thrown in. I don't know, there might or might not have been keeper runs on there, but I'm very wary of mining that one time in my life when I could have won the state football championship for glory, but, you know, what can I say? It was the most glorious moment of my Isaac career, the early summer and late spring of 2015. I recall it. And I want to get back to those days with some strong plays. What do you say? So far, so good. So far, so great, really. Our damage is not a problem. HP, you never know. You know, you think when Smash Mouth said, you never know if you don't go? He was talking about, like, a new restaurant that opened in town. Because you gotta remember, that song, you know, it was written and recorded in the pre-Yelp era. So, like, now, I mean, if you were to go to a website, new restaurant opens up, and, you know, it's got, like, a 1 out of 5 on Yelp, you'd be like, you know what? I don't think I have to go to know Steve Harwell. But because that song came out in 1998, you're like, yeah, unless you read the Los Angeles Times, you know, the day that the food review ran, you're kind of out of luck. You got to go to the library and use the microfiche reader. I will take number 2, but I don't love it. It would have been poisonous if we had had number 2 combined with Isaac's Heart. Luckily, we're not in that situation. I don't really want IV bag, and it can show up again, so I'm just gonna cool it for now. We could use it to generate a little bit of money, but it's not like we're rolling in HP. You know, we might generate 3 or 4 cents off of its existence. We're probably about to give that HP away right here anyway. You know what's interesting about reviews is that, you know, there are some people who trust reviews. I don't even want to say too much, because I'm in that camp. Like, if I see... I am a fool. If I see a review for something, and it's like, it's trash, I'm like, well, maybe I don't really need to interface with this, because it seems like it's trash, according to Peter Travers of Rolling Stone. But I think there's also... We have to, unfortunately. Not worth it. Not worth it. Take me to the shop. I think there's a contingency of people out there, and many of you, it might be as much as like maybe a third or 40% of the population, that see reviews and implicitly think like they challenge the reviewer and think that the review is wrong. Like, I bet if you came out with a restaurant review and were like, this is the worst restaurant I've ever eaten at, for the next week, you would be standing room only. You wouldn't be able to get a table. People would be like, I don't know what the critics are talking about. It's not that bad. Sure, they served you literal feces, but hey, it could be worse. Could be Arby's. There's people who are very skeptical of the establishment when it comes to criticism. That's what I'm trying to get at here. This is incredible. We will definitely take Sackhead. Just giving us a sack immediately. High Priestess. Well, we obviously do not want Suicide King. I don't really care about Blue Map either, but we'll use Walking on Sunshine at some point. I can't believe we have so much money. This feels like a secret room to me, too. Yeah, who needs Blue Map, dude? We don't really want that anyway. I don't know where we're going to use Feels Like I'm Walking on Sunshine. Also, hey, idiot, that's me. I'm not talking to you. Why on earth are you using bombs when you could be using just your ability to fart bombs out? I say that because, you know, I have friends like that in my life to begin with, where, you know, if they hear that something's really good, it's like a challenge. It's like, oh yeah? It goes both ways. Oh, the elite critics don't like something, huh? Well, they don't really have their finger on the pulse of the everyman, so what do they know? Please, Book of Revelations. You know what? We'll go Book of the Dead, I should say. Because I think it's actually more useful than Book of Belial. I got nervous, okay? Cut me some slack. Alright, we got a friend. People who are like, oh, this restaurant's good, huh? I went there. It's not that good. Like, it just... I'm starting to crystallize where this bit's gonna go. And it's... I feel like there's so much cynicism in, like, in my little section of the industry. That might be true on the internet as well, but just in general. But... the number one thing that annoys me is when... well, number one thing that annoys me about, like, when people go see a movie and then tweet about it, which is a pretty minor concern in the whole, like, meta landscape of planet Earth, but they'll, like, go see a movie and be like, hey, I saw blank, really liked it, hated this one part, though. And I'm like, why are you giving equal weight, if you liked the movie, to, like, yeah, I liked 99% of it, but there's this one part of it that I didn't really like that much, and yet in the tweet... the likes and dislikes are 50% of the tweet, you know? I feel like our English teachers have done us a disservice. Because the way that they, at least over here, the way that they taught us to write, you know, argumentative essays and debates and stuff like that, is you know, you gotta, if you want to appear balanced, you gotta give an equal weight to both sides. But if you loved something, it doesn't make your opinion any less valuable to say, like, hey, I loved this thing, and, you know, maybe I have minor criticisms, but they're not that important in the whole scheme of things. I think, at least. And I'm saying this exclusively because I'm mad at some of the reaction to Mission Impossible Fallout. It's true. There's the number of people that I've found that are like tripping over themselves and being like, yeah, it was pretty good. For an action movie though, like it was pretty dumb. Like it wasn't that cerebral. Like I prefer the Darren Aronofsky film Pi. I thought that movie was a little bit better, but like for a movie that's just like a fun popcorn movie, which means like I don't hold it in that high of esteem, even though it also takes a lot of skill to craft. I mean, it's not as nuanced as, you know, the Kate Blanchett film, I'm trying to think of what, but Brooklyn, I don't think she was in that. What's a Carol? That's the one. People are so, like, afraid to be, they're like, well, I can't say that I liked an action movie a lot with no, reservations, because, it'll seem like I'm a fool, because, nah, dude! We're living in the golden age of action movies. Like, when I was, growing up, action movies, by and large, were terrible. There was like one good action movie that came out every 5 years. You know, for the 1990s, you got like a Heat. Fantastic movie. GoldenEye. That might be it. The Matrix, you know? Because whenever you saw an action movie, you're like, oh, there goes something that's gonna be garbage. Comes out, you're like, it's garbage. Everyone's like, I know. I know it's garbage. We knew it in advance. It had no choice but to be garbage. Now we got the Jonathan Wicks. We got the Jonathan Wick 2s. We got the Raid Redemption. The Mission Impossibles. Once every other James Bond movie, you get a good one. It's a good time. I'm just saying, okay? I think, you know, there's like an unspoken language when you talk about movies. And that's if you like an action movie, you have to pretend to be like sort of embarrassed. You have to be like, yeah, well, because it has like violence in it, it's inherently not as well made as something that doesn't. So like I liked it for like a dumb popcorn movie sort of thing. But like, you know, it's not every single action movie. I hear it over and over and over again. It's okay. You could just like it. That's cool too. People are very afraid to call something smart, I think, because if they call a stupid thing smart, it makes them look stupid. I understand that 100%. I'm not necessarily saying Mission Impossible Fallout is a smart movie, but I think it's a clever movie. I think it's well, effectively put together. Anyway, that's all I'm saying. I'm also, yeah, I've been in Dan's, this is about Daniel. This is me taking a bone to pick with Big Brother 10 winner, Big Brother 14 runner-up, no shade required. Daniel Giesling. He gave Mission Impossible Fallout a 4. It's got a 97 on Rotten Tomatoes. I'll let you be the judge of whether he's being contrarian for the sake of being contrarian or if he genuinely believes that. Either way, he also told me Die Hard was a 7. So maybe it's just like not sort of his type of thing. When I went to his chat and I was like, I think it's like an 8 or a 9. People were like, ugh, NL, what's your favorite movie? And I'm like, I don't know. Really like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and Adaptation. And they're like, oh, that's a big surprise. I thought it would have been like Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Are you crazy? Just, it's a great movie. I really like it within the context of superhero movies. I find superhero movies entertaining. Sometimes artistic, well put together. Absolutely. Some of them I do find clever. Doesn't mean my favorite movies of all time are Marvel movies. I lived that snob life when you were knee-high to a grasshopper. Hey, Ryan, it's your 15th birthday. What do you want? Oh, can I get the Criterion Collection of The Graduate and the Hal Ashby film Harold and Maude? Oh, what's Harold? You're like, oh, I thought I was a snob. I listened to Death Grips. Let me look up what Harold and Maude is on Rotten Tomatoes right now. I lived that life. I've been there. Now it's forgot about Dre all over again. Now that I'm like, oh, I thought Ant-Man was a very watchable film. People are like, oh, I didn't realize you don't respect art. I only watch Jean-Pierre Jeunet films. Okay, well, more power to you. Go enjoy The Girls of Wild Strawberries. For all I care, I'm just saying. You can also just enjoy something with no reservations if you like it. I feel like it's like the easiest shorthand to like appear that you're giving a balanced opinion is to be like, hey, I really like this thing. It was a 10 out of 10. The options menu's a little messed up though, so you know, take that with a grain of salt. I think I'm way more impressed Or at least I take it as way more honest when someone is like gushing about something. Except in the case of the release of episode 1, a Star Wars story. When every pre-release review was like, I don't know if it's better than Empire yet, but, you know, time will tell. And then, like, 3 years later, everyone was like, this is bad. That's fair. Anyway, I'm just saying, you don't have to believe the critics. That's not really where I meant to go with this conversation. But if I could give you a piece of advice from one internet denizen to another, don't be afraid to be fully positive or fully negative in your criticism. It's funny, I think you see it, like, if somebody loves something, they're afraid to say it a lot of the time without putting, like, some kind of criticism in there to make it seem like their head's still screwed on straight and they're giving it an objective look. If somebody hates something, they're like, I can't say anything good about this. I think it's like the innate human tendency to be like, if I see unfettered negativity, it must be honest. If I see unfettered positivity, I gotta see, is there some kind of ulterior motive potentially going on here? Anyway, how's this run going? Honestly, you know, you take the good, you take the bad, right? And now I'm gonna give you a fair and balanced look. But hey, to be fair, this is a middling run. It's got amazing damage. If you push came to shove, what do I give this? You know, if I give my personal opinion, am I giving this a fresh or a rotten? It's a strong fresh, absolutely. No question about it. You know, we got a great spacebar item set up. Sure, why not? We got tons of money. Our damage is out of control. Rerolling these shops feels good. We will smelt these trinkets. Absolutely. We'll buy champion belt, and then we still got enough money to get one more thing. Not potato peeler. That would be very dumb. BFF. Yes! We saw immediately it made the bones larger. Love it. So yeah, I'm starting to... The only thing is HP. See, now I'm being screwed by my own commentary. Because people are like, well, if you love the run, why don't you... Why don't you just say you love it? You don't need to bring up the negative. Yo, but this is not Mission Impossible Fallout levels of run. This is like, you know, Mission Impossible 3. It's like a good return to form, and I'm having a great time. But it's not necessarily at the same level. I wouldn't say masterpiece, but like, you know, a high-octane thrill ride that's fun for the whole family. Yo, let's go. Alright, this was a huge floor for us. We're very, very happy with it. Only way I could be happier, little deal with the angel action would be nice. Deal with the devil, I would accept it. Please get in the fire. Love it. A fast floor gives us boss rush potential. Let's go. Let's go, though. Okay, I'll take the coat hanger. Very nice damage improvement. You know, I think you take Dark Bomb, and you're happy with it. Dark Bomb gives you the chance at a future that's a little bit more defensively strong. We haven't been there for a while, so I'm willing to throw away some current defense for some future defense. Curse of the Blind. It's a scary situation. May I also bring up, I think our speed stat is a potential danger zone for us. Okay, you're a fool. That was me being a fool. This feels like secret room access. To be honest, right now, I don't really care about our deal with the devil situation. We did get a spirit heart there. But I want the spirit hearts just to keep us alive. Hey. Pills are good. Friends till the end. Sure. I am going to peep our boss trap room, and I'm going to use bombs instead of number 2 just to go a little faster. Boss trap room looks like garbage. Alright, we're constructing a decent setup here. If I can't choose what to get on this floor, which I obviously cannot, you know what I want to get? What's a reasonable upgrade for us? Speed. If we can get the belt, if we could get caffeine pill would be a really nice option. I'm just gonna grab this. I can't remember. I can never remember because it shows up so rarely. If get out of jail free card allows us to get out of boss rush. I would describe boss rush as like, it's very similar to a jail, but like worse. Like worse than prison. Because it's like, ugh, what, am I supposed to be here for like the next 4 or 5 minutes? That's crazy. It's like solitary confinement. Except maybe like a little worse. Dude, Dark Bomb. Definitely 100% ended up being the right decision. Ace of Diamonds is not good. Alright. If we could get to boss rush, Emperor allows us to get out. If we can't get the boss rush, Emperor allows us to skip the Womb 1. And, you know, we'll probably be thankful for the opportunity to do so. I'm loving this. 2020 combined with Bookworm is giving us, like, amazing damage potential. Yeah, you know what? I'm willing to say it. I love this run now. No complaints whatsoever. Just a little minor speed-related issue that is irrelevant. I'll level with you, okay? As much as I pretend not to love the Marvel movies, this entire screed was basically... I'm just trying to get back at Austin. Oh, Parasitoid is awesome. His tweet after he saw Black Panther. He said, I like Black Panther. There's one joke in it, though, that's very cringeworthy. And I was like, yo, you're not wrong. But simultaneously... Okay, he's not wrong. I'll leave it at that. Excuse me. Our flies and spiders have done a terrible job for us there. I just feel like, I don't know, I get... Not... bogged down, but sometimes I just like I roll my eyes. I feel like the internet is so negative. Like, I feel like the #1 response someone gets when they say like I like this thing is people going like, well, it's not that good. So rarely do I hear people that are like the opposite, that are like, oh dude, like you like this thing? I loved this thing. Maybe it's because you idiot. How many times recently have I squandered boss rush for myself? The whole gist of this conversation, though, is just, I hate this boss. See, this boss isn't that good. I'll be what I hate. That's fine. I just say I get annoyed sometimes because I feel like on the internet we treat negativity as a more valid emotion than positivity, and when people are positive we go, oh, what's their agenda? When people are negative we go, hey, this person's got their head screwed on straight. Anyway, you get the idea. As somebody who's afraid to have an opinion and thus errs on the side of positivity, it really puts me in an awkward spot. You're doing good work here. Excellent run. Will we fight Hush? I'll level with you. There is a Hush fight to be had. The only question is whether or not we're going to have the HP required for it. We got a nice little army. We don't have a ton of money, but it still might be worth it. Dude, I don't want to get rid of Book of the Dead right now. Like, Book of the Dead is exceptional. Look at our orbitals. It helps that we're never being hit, but still, like... This is absurd. I don't think we can be hit by something that's not a beam right now. Maybe if we walked into something, we could, like, override the orbitals we have in their colliders, but... I hesitated to even say that because, like, I ran a test run in my head and I was like, this is gonna get DAE'd. I don't mean, like, just to show off the fact that I know what a collider is. I'm just saying... First you're telling Nicholas how to fix their game, and now you're talking about colliders. What happened to you, NL? No, it's not like that. I'm just saying. Like, I'm prognosticating. Is it possible for us to even be hit right now? And I don't know the answer to that question. I like when a Judas run works out. There's like, if you don't get any kind of defense, it can be a nightmare, but I mean, in this situation, what are you supposed to say? It's just, it's gorgeous. I don't really want to go to the curse room because, you know, if you're on the verge of becoming Guppy, give me a curse room. If you're not on the verge of becoming Guppy, not that interested. I feel cozy. Like, I feel like Judas is wearing a winter jacket right now. He's shielded from the storm. I'm not opening chests. It's an unnecessary situation. Use the Hagalas real quick. Man, we hit every single dead end on this floor. Okay. I will try. I'll open this chest. It was worth nothing. That's because of poker chip. Like, pa poker chip, pa poker chip. We're like, just maybe something we should drop. But when we get the double payout, dude, think about the doubled payouts. Well, I honestly think we probably could do the Hush fight and be totally fine. But I also honestly think Hush is kind of bad. I'll do it in those situations where, like, we expect the shops to be great for us, but, you know, if I was reworking Isaac, and I'm thankful that I'm not, because then that would open my decisions up to the same kind of scrutiny that I give the developers' decisions from time to time, because I'm such a harsh critic, as you're well aware. People are always like, oh, don't send your game to that Northernlion guy. He's always tearing them down. He's always like, ah, this game stinks, and even if you're a fan of the genre, stay far, far away. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. Fear me. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, dude, if we can expect to get good things from the shop, I'm for it. But, oh, if I rework it, first off, if I could rewrite the dictionary, I'd put you and I next to each other, which would be very confusing for people that use the dictionary, because they'd be like, oh, I'm looking for a word that starts with J. Here's the eyes. Oh, Isuzu. I don't know why I'm... These are like names. It's like I'm describing a phone book instead. But anyway. You know, like, there's still... I'm assuming this is a worldwide brand, or at least Canada and the US. There's a company called Yellow Pages. I think it's also in the US. Anyway, they manufactured something colloquially known as a phone book. I know you millennials might be, what's that? You mean the address book on your cellular telephone? You're like a little child. Nah, I'm sure you're aware. It was a book. It was a book that had everybody's phone number in it. So literally, like, it got sent around. And you'd be like, oh, I want to call my friend. You look up their last name in the book of phone numbers. And it was always, it's so weird because it's a different era. But sometimes people would be like, you know, oh, just look up your number in the phone book. And then the other person would be like, nah, my parents made the number unlisted. And you're like, whoa, that's so weird that they would want to hide their contact information from you. From everybody. Some of the phone books even had addresses in them, at least in my small town, which is just absurd in the modern era. But anyway, this company, Yellow Pages, they still exist. And when you drive west from like Ottawa to Toronto, you see a big building, and on the side of it, it says Yellow Pages, or like yp.ca, which is Yellow Pages' website. How is this company still in business? You know, 20 years ago, every year, once a year, you got a big package on your doorstep. And it was a book that was like, you know, as thick as a freaking encyclopedia with everybody's phone number. I don't want lard. I want speed. I have to imagine that business is not so profitable anymore. I'm assuming in small towns, you know, maybe it's still sort of like a thing, or towns where like the demographics are a little more skewed towards the elderly. That's understandable. I don't really want that right there. The speed downgrades are everywhere. Dude, this room is going to be so good for Book of the Dead. This is hilarious. But like, how are they still... That's some primo real estate, I think. Unless they bought the building in like 1971. A skyscraper just outside of downtown Toronto. It's one of those things like, you know, if I saw like Nortel had the, oh, we're in the Nortel Tower on the 71st floor, I'd be like, no, you're not. Like, you could just tell me you don't want to see me. Oh, I won't waste my time trying to show up. How are they still in business? Like, I mean, you know, you think about Blackberries. That's one thing. You know, research in motion had the smartphone market cornered before the iPhone was released. When people are like, oh, they're still making phones, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I'm sure there's still some people out there who, for whatever reason, use Blackberries. They're, you know, if you give a phone to like a 55-year-old executive, and then 3 years later, you're like, I want you to learn a brand new ecosystem. I'm sure, not that they're incapable of it, but that they're like, nah, I'll just stick with my BlackBerry. So, you know, there's always going to be a market for that. I mean, you're talking to the dude who bought Microsoft Office so that he could use PowerPoint instead of learning how to use the Open Office PowerPoint equivalent, or God forbid, use LaTeX. Which I understand is not pronounced that way, but, you know, I'm not a physicist, so I don't need to know that. You're still alive? You know, because it's worth $10 for me to not have to learn a new piece of software, is all I'm trying to suggest here. But, oh no. I probably abandoned this path when we were almost at the boss fight. We'll see. Anyway, I don't know what I'm complaining about. I mean, the run's crushing it. Yeah, this is a dead end. But it might be a good Book of the Dead situation. This doesn't count as a doubled room. About that. Well, we'll just move onwards here. Fun run. In the whole scheme of things, very, very fun run. Good start to a quadruple-digit streak. Personally guaranteed. You got nothing to worry about in that department. Hopefully we don't random the keeper at any point. Or if we random the keeper, we just get so insanely strong so early we got nothing to worry about. Love it. One adversary, walk in the park like a beach house song. Two adversaries, no thank you, sir. Nah. We already got Bookworm. Okay. You're doing great, sweetie. Keep it up. That's how you get win 1. I don't know why I was waiting for like an end of screen that was like, what's your score? That's Slay the Spire. Your brain's in Slay the Spire. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time.